client actually had almost zero experience with gold plants. They were base metal producers.
What is the most shocking results that you've seen from a MACH installation?
Well, it has to be a client that we had about 4 years ago that was an overseas client. So we based here in South Africa, and that client was very far away across the seas. And it was a client that had a gold project, a semi-refractory gold project that they were trying to get commissioned to complete the build on. But the interesting part of that story is the client actually had almost zero experience with gold plants. They were base metal producers. So they knew all about flotation, etc. But when it came to leaching and the intricacies of the gold circuit, they actually were a little bit lost. And they came to me with very little background information. So I suppose because they understood so little of it, they thought that this was going to be easy, a walk in the park. How difficult can it be? They will get their high recoveries, etc. And here was poor old me looking at the mineralogies and looking at the test report saying, well, actually, it's not going to be that easy. You know, you're going to have to work at this a little bit. But anyway, we were then tasked with designing the MACH reactor installation for that plant based on very, very minimal input. So we had to just, go by our gut, and actually went in with an overkill installation, which is what I sometimes do when there's uncertainty, just over design a bit. So we had a couple of extra MACH reactors in there just to make sure that we gave the client the result. But then, things just got more and more interesting with that project. Before they signed their contract, they said to me, of course, you wouldn't have a problem with giving us a performance guarantee. And anyone will tell you, anyone who's in this type of technology game will tell you that it is a very difficult thing to guarantee a recovery. For example, you can guarantee throughput through your unit, etc. But there's so many factors that are not in your control that affect a recovery number. The ore could change, the parameters on the plant could change. So the client may not get the recovery through no fault of the MACH reactor. It could be something they're doing incorrectly. But then again, I had a very sort of headstrong client. They wanted what they wanted. They wanted a guarantee. They didn't tell me how many percent I need to guarantee, but they wanted some guarantee. So we just took a guess. We looked at the numbers and we said 4% sounds like a good number. We'll guarantee that. And so we put that into the contract, sent it off to the client. And we thought, we're home free. And so the client comes back, so yes, we accept that performance guarantee, but now you need to go into the bank and you need to put aside some funds. And the sum funds were millions of, it ran into the millions.
Nice.
That needed to be set aside at the bank on a contract that said that if the client did not achieve this promised recovery improvement, they could draw that money out. So that would be the penalty for gold ore, and that was in place for about 12 months. After 12 months, of course, that money came back to us. But it was the first time that we had to do such a thing. Normally clients would just say, well, how much should we expect? And we'll give them a number that we think is reasonable, and it sort of ends there. But here, for the first time, we had to guarantee it. And imagine doing all of that without actually testing the ore on our technology. It was a big leap of faith, let's just say. We are very, let's say, gung-ho about the MACH. We're always very optimistic about what it can achieve. But to give such extreme guarantees on ore that we haven't tested was a bit much. But I guess it's just the gold ore way, I suppose. We love to under-promise and over-deliver. We're sometimes a bit too modest, I think, about what we say about the MACH reactor. We should probably shout from the rooftops about how good the MACH reactor is, because in reality, when clients do install, and when it comes to the proof of the pudding, the MACH always delivers.
For more information on the MACH, gold ore, and how we are challenging and changing the world, please visit www.goldore.org.